Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello again. Welcome to the Daily Talking Real Money podcast. I'm Don McDonald. Thanks for joining us to start off a new week. It's the Monday podcast, but you can listen to it anytime because most of the time the information is applicable to any time, any place, really. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. If you want to call in a question, you can do that anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll answer them here on the podcast on a daily basis. Or almost daily basis, because we're going to have a couple of days where we do the Saturday show, and that's the daily podcast. So we'll probably have a Monday one, and then Tuesday and Wednesday will be the weekend show, and then Thursday and Friday we'll do daily ones again, something like that. But the number again, 855-935-TALK, our website, if you want to download our advisor interview form or find an advisor near you or set up an appointment with one of our advisors or take a risk quiz, is TalkingRealMoney.com. It's an all-purpose site. Just go there. TalkingRealMoney.com. Got it? Good. Big news today. A study of 281 business economists by the National Association of Business Economics that was just released today discovered that 13% of economists are actually honest. I bet you weren't expecting that, were you? Yeah, no, the big headlines were things like, let's see, a new survey of economists show that, what was the headline? 3/4, here it is, 3/4 of business economists expect a recession by 2021. That's the headline that they use to draw your little eyeballs in. But the most interesting part is the fact that 13% of the people who responded said, I don't know. I have no idea. An honest economist. Wow. Because economists feel the need to predict. They do. They like thinking that they know something nobody else does. But they can't. It's not possible. But because they're human beings, they like to think they can because it makes them feel special. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of facts, but I really want to start with an economist joke or two, because there are so many of them. And some of them are kind of funny, and some of them are really cute. And I don't know. We'll just try a couple of them. How about how many economists does it change to take a... Jeez. How about how many economists does it take to change a light bulb? 7 plus or minus 10. Harry Truman once said he wanted an economic advisor who's one-handed, because his economists were always saying, on one hand, economists have predicted 9 out of the last 5 recessions. And that brings us to the reality here. When was our last recession in the United States? Yeah, 2008. The average recession lasts for about 11 months, and the average expansion lasts for around 5 years. Well, we've been in an expansion for well over 5 years. So if you're past the average, you're likely someday before too long to have a recession. So it's pretty safe to bet, and this is what gets me. These bets are so ridiculous. They're all over the place. 10% of the economists surveyed thought we would have a recession in 2000 or believe we will have a recession in 2019. That's because we're in 2019 and they have fewer months to be right. So what's the next best bet? If you were an economist, what would you bet next? Of course you would bet 2020. 42% of economists believe the U.S. will enter a recession in 2020. Now, we act like they're brilliant. They're just guessing. They're just guessing. You could go out a little longer and say, I don't know, let's go for 2021. You could be a little bit of a maverick. 25% fall into that category. 11, optimists. They say we've got until well after 2021. They have no clue. They're just guessing that. Because they're going to look really smart if it's a long time before the next recession. They're just more patient. And then I want to send out my sincere congratulations and appreciation to those few economists who are actually honest, not just with us, but with themselves. They know themselves well enough to know that they can't know anything about the future. And when someone comes to ask, hello, Mr. Economist. Yes, this is me. I'd like to know when you think we're going to go into a recession. In the future? I don't know. Why do you think I would know? Well, because Mr. Economist, you're an economist. You know these things. Excuse me, sir. Nobody knows nothing about the future. I am so proud of you 13% out there. You are my favorite economists ever. Many years ago, John Kenneth Galbraith said that there were only two classes of forecasters. Those who don't know and those who don't know they don't know. Apparently, 87% of economists don't know that they don't know. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. You can call in your questions anytime like this gentleman did.
Yes, hi. My name is Kevin. I'm calling you from New York. I have a question about annuities. I know you folks are anti-annuity, and I did believe that until I heard a podcast about the benefits of an annuity, such as the money in an annuity is free from creditors in terms of possibly a bankruptcy or Medicare or Medicaid planning. So my point is, shouldn't you once again have a blend, have an annuity as a piece of an overall portfolio, even if you're in your early 50s, just for those type of protections? Thank you.
Well, Kevin, you raised some great points. Annuities are protected from creditors and bankruptcy. That's nice. I mean, that's a little bonus. Is it a big bonus? I don't know. Do you expect to be dunned by creditors? Or are you filing for bankruptcy? I mean, if that's the case, maybe it makes sense to have yourself an annuity. But most of us don't find ourselves in that situation. And as for protecting it from health care, the rules aren't as clear. The rules are a lot less cut and dried because it has to be a specific type of annuity. It cannot have a lot of various features that most annuities have. There has been, there's just been all kinds of trouble with annuities being sold to people as a protection against nursing home costs, and it turns out that they're the wrong kind of annuity. You've got to be really, really careful. Basically, it's an immediate annuity that will cover you. There are other qualifiers that will muddy the situation dramatically. So you need somebody who isn't just an insurance agent trying to make a buck to help you work your way through those rules. As a matter of fact, they're complicated enough that you really need an elder law attorney to make sure you don't do this wrong. So, no, they're not worth it. Generally speaking, they are not worth it. Unless you honestly expect you're going to be sued or file for bankruptcy several years down the road. And again, you've got to be very careful with all of this. You would absolutely want to consult with a lawyer. You're not going to want to listen to some guy on a podcast who I can almost guarantee you is either an insurance agent or is paid by an insurance agent to promote these things, because the vast majority of the respectable fiduciary, 100% fiduciary investment advisory industry does not think that annuities make a lot of sense, except in the case of immediate annuities to provide a certain income flow. And that kind of annuity we're okay with. The kind of annuities we hate, that we really despise, are those that are missold, particularly products like equity indexed annuities and a lot of these variable annuities where they lie to you and tell you you get all kinds of tax advantages that you don't really get. And and don't even get me started on some of these whole life and universal life things that they pitch as tax free. Sorry, People make me mad. But no, this is not, it doesn't make any sense. This is not likely to be worth it for you. And if you really do feel the need to protect yourself so that your spouse can go on Medicaid, get an attorney who specializes in elder law and Medicaid issues. Don't take the advice of some guy who sells insurance on commission, ever. Thank you. And remember the number, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And I talk a lot about this 100% fiduciary concept. MarketWatch looked at the numbers several years ago, and they found that it was about 10% of all the financial advice providers out there are always required to act as your fiduciary. In other words, in your best interest. That means 90% are not. They can say they're a fiduciary, but it doesn't mean they are all the time. They might be a fiduciary one minute and not a fiduciary the next minute when they're selling you on an annuity or putting you in a loaded mutual fund. How do you know the difference? You don't. But I'm telling you, I'm on the radio, I'm on podcasts. You know how to call me at 855-935-TALK. You can even call me live on Saturdays and go, Don, you lied to me. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Firms like ours, and we have a link on our page to find other firms like ours. We're not saying we're the only good one, but firms like Vestry that are 100% fiduciary advisors are where you should turn if you're looking for non-commissioned, biased advice on managing your money and planning for your future financial needs. Okay? And here's the big plug for the whole thing. This is our pitch. Ready? This is the pitch. Go to Talking Real Money. Click on the Make an Appointment with an Advisor link. Spend a little time talking with somebody. I guarantee you that they will actually help you, that they will not pitch you, that they will not charge you anything. There is no obligation. You're not going to get bugged every few days or weeks or even months on the phone. You're not. We don't pester. We don't need to, but we do help. And so if you'd like a little help, go to talkingrealmoney.com and click on that Make an Appointment button, or just give us a call at 800-386-3004, 800-386-3004. That's for our company. So only call during the day, business days. The other number, 855-935-TALK, is how you ask a question on the show. That's free, and that's around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thanks so much for listening. Please go to Apple Podcasts or iTunes and subscribe. I want this podcast to move up the rankings and push aside some of these lock jockeys who are selling get-rich-quick schemes on their podcasts, and they are legion. There are more of them than there are the good ones, and we got to move the good ones up. And that could be ours. That can be Paul Merriman's podcast. There are a lot of good ones out there. Well, there are a few good ones out there and a lot of bad ones. So the way you get it moved up is to subscribe and tell friends to subscribe. Say, I listen to this podcast. I really like it. Go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, subscribe to it, and we'll boost our audience. We'll move up in the top rankings, and more people will find us. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for listening. Take care of yourself. I'm Don McDonald. And finally, did you know that if you lay all of the economists in the world end to end, they would not reach a conclusion? Thanks for listening. I'm Don McDonald.
Talking Real Money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.